everyone, welcome to the Ecosystem Innovation video series. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about operational procurement, and it's probably a weird challenge, and some of you might watch this and say, why do people still do that? But they do, especially around the European continent. I've even heard it still happening in North America. There's still a need for a wet signature on a PO in some organizations. And what that basically means is that when a PO is created, procurement then have to print off that PO, walk it around the organization and get someone, and in some cases, multiple people, to physically sign that PO. Once they have that signature signed, they then have to go and release the PO. This is obviously a very cumbersome process and naturally impacts the ability for organizations to send POs out quickly and get the orders back in quickly. So let me introduce our partner Apsolut, because they've obviously seen this a lot in their implementations, and they're a very strong Ariba partner and have done hundreds of implementations. And when they saw this, they decided, hey, look, let's create an app extension that gets around that process. So they've created an app that is an e-signature connector integrated, for Docusign, that is then fully integrated into SAP ERP to digitize this process. Today, we're going to give you an overview of the solution, and we're also going to give you a demo. And let me introduce you to both Andy Hart and Daniela Radet, who are going to take us through it. Hi, guys.
Hi, May.
Hi.
Hey. Thanks for joining us today. So jumping straight into it, Andy, why don't you take us through, some of the background behind it, how this came about, what you were seeing, and some of the challenges, and then the value realization, if you don't mind.
Yeah, thanks, May. So it's really good to be here with you just to showcase our Apsolut E-Signature connector for Docusign. So what we see with our customers are, as you stated, a wide range of documents that are created in SAP ERP, such as contracts, purchase orders, sales orders, and these have requirements to be signed in some cases. What we see with our customers is mainly three scenarios with how customers get these documents signed currently. So as we know, there's scenario one, which is pure paper-based signing process. This process is obviously very manual, very inefficient, requires the user to have to print out the document, pass it around the organization. It's really ineffective and non-value added activity that goes on. At Apsolut, we've identified sort of 8 manual steps as part of this process. And as we all know, paper costs money for the organization. Scenario 2, so moving on, when the customer actually purchases Docusign as a new solution for e-signatures, this helps automate the process and actually gets the steps down to 5 key steps. So again, the customer's benefiting from increased efficiency, increased compliance, no need for the user to obviously download the document, scan it offline, upload it into the solution. It's a real big improvement from obviously the paper-based signing process. Moving on further, so what our Apsolut E-Signature connector for Docusign does as part of scenario 3 is really optimize this even further than just having Docusign. So we can reduce this process from the 8 manual steps as part of the paper signature process down to 2 steps. So the other 6 steps are fully automated with maximum compliance.
Sorry, Andy, and those 2 steps are and that works across 8 or 9 different document types, right? So it's not just, I mentioned PO at the beginning, but you're actually doing a number of other documents.
Yep, yeah, totally, Mo. So our connector can support a wide range of documents in SAP. So that, for example, could be HR requisitions or timesheets or RFQs, for example, on the procurement side. So yeah, the connector's got a really wide range of use that I can talk through later in the session.
Okay, awesome. So how is this set up? I mean, what is it that you guys have built? So what is the landscape like? Because you say you integrate into SAP ERPs, right? As well as some other solutions.
Yeah. So the reason that we've built the e-signature connector is obviously from our customers, we've noticed that there isn't a out-of-the-box integration with Docusign from SAP ERP. Again, taking the SAP cloud solution portfolios, there are out-of-the-box integrations, so things like obviously Ariba, SuccessFactors, but the on-premise SAP world doesn't have any out-of-the-box connections. So our connector is filling that gap to make it more simple for users to run through the signing process end to end.
Okay, so you also do it with SRM as well as CLM then as well, right?
Yeah. So we can connect with SRM and other solutions we've got on the roadmap that we're looking to connect to as well.
Right, and you also connect to the cloud solutions that already exist. So actually, that's a wide range of SAP solutions that you're connecting to already. Yeah,
and the efficiency is really good. So it really closes the gap between SAP ERP and Docusign. And again, you'll see in the demo later how easy it is for the user to manage the whole signing process from the individual transaction in SAP. So it's really user friendly.
Cool. Have you got? I know that you've got a slide on use cases. It'd probably be worth doing that for the audience to understand, because you've got multiple document types. Each one can have a different use case. Can we just walk through that just so that we give the audience an understanding of the different types?
Yeah, certainly, Mo. So again, the slide shows the breakdown of the different business object areas in SAP and the different documents. So from the procurement side, we can support signing an RFQ or an outline agreement, obviously the purchase order. From a sales and distribution side, we can support sales quotations, bill of landings, for example. And then from a accounting side, so invoices or payment plans from a treasury side. So yeah, Connect has a wide range of uses and different document types. And again, on our roadmap, we're bringing in support for various documents as we're going with each release of the connector.
And just to be clear, right, this is in addition to the normal approval workflow that you would perhaps have with your accounting objects, etc. Correct?
Yeah, correct. So yeah, the approval can go on before, and then we can kick off the signing process using the connector with Docusign.
Okay, brilliant. So why don't we show everyone exactly what it looks like? So Daniela, let's bring you into the picture here. Give us a bit of a demo, show us how easy it is to use the solution.
Yeah, I'd love to. So this e-signature connector allows you to go into your familiar SAP transactions and simply create the document as you would normally if you didn't require a signature. And then the signature process is automatically triggered in the background. In this case, I'm using a PO creation as an example. So I'm in transaction ME23N. And just for simplicity for this demo, I will copy an existing order. So now I've got an item in here with all the required fields, and I could simply save. And in the background, the e-signature connector would find the right people to sign and then send it to Docusign automatically. So there is no need to touch this in any way. I don't even have to think about the signature. It's done automatically in the background.
So you end up having to have in effect an approval or signature table in the system somewhere to hold the right people for it to go to, correct?
Exactly, yeah. We've got a quite simple customizing table, which our customers can also adjust themselves if they want, where you would put the signers and some conditions in which cases they would sign. Like for the purchase order, we will put purchasing organization, material group, PO value, things like that, which determine who's the right person in this case.
Okay, and that table, is that something that the customer can manage by themselves, so they completely handle it themselves, or does it? Yeah, okay.
They can do that absolutely themselves. It's quite simple.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Sorry, carry on.
No problem. So I could either save this directly, or I can also check who will the signers be if
Yep.
I don't make any adjustments. And we introduced a new tab in the header for that called Apsolut E-Signature connector. So I could go in here and check who the signers, the predetermined signers in this case are.
Mhm.
So here we have two different signers. One of them is an internal user. The other one is a supplier contact. So you could also use this for external signers.
Oh, okay, cool.
And this is, well, useful to review, but you could also make changes here if you want, like just an email address or putting a different user. You can delete and add entries here just as you like. And if you don't want this to be editable, that can also be set to mandatory, and then the user won't be able to change these steps.
Okay, great.
So for now, I'll just leave it at that and save the PO. So now this order is, there's a PDF version generated for this order in the background, and that will be sent to Docusign and then to the first signer.
Cool.
And since I'm the first signer in this case, I should receive an email in a few seconds. Let me check if it's already there. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
So each signer receives such an email, which basically just says, hey, there's a document, you need to review it and sign. And then you can click on this link to directly access that document in Docusign. You could just say continue, yes, I want to sign this, and review the POPF version. If everything's all right, you see this yellow icon here where you can just say sign, and it puts my signature, and then say finish. And that's all that the signers have to do. It's a really quite simple process on their side.
Perfect. And so again, just thinking about the overall process, once it does this, does this step happen pre-approval of the PO, or does this then kick off the approval process, the general approval process?
This happens after the approval process. So if you have an approval process on the PO, that will take place first, and only after it's completely approved, then this connector will kick in.
Okay. So just think again, just going to ask you the steps. User creates a requisition normally, which then gets approved to become a PO. You then have this signature process that would occur after that process. It gets signed, and then it goes off to the supplier, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So.
Okay, so now I'm back in SAP, and I'll just jump into the order we just created. Because while the signature process is running, we can actually monitor its status in the same tab that we've been in before. It's this button, Show Docusign Status History. And this again shows you the two signing steps. And here you can see the status completed because the first signer has signed already, and you even get a timestamp here.
Okay.
You can monitor this anytime.
Okay.
I don't want to bore you with going through the same steps again for the second signer. So I'll just open a PO which is completed already, so we can see how that looks. So you will, of course, again have the completed status for both tabs here. If I would go back into the purchase order signing history, but what else you can do is that you can access the actual signed document via the attachment list.
Okay.
So you would go in here and you see the PO PDF version, including the signatures, and also this certificate of completion, which gives you some more details and is actually the proof, the legally relevant document, which says that this PO has been signed electronically.
Perfect. Okay. So you've got that audit trail always, and it's just saved into the ERP, so you can access it at any time if audit want to come and look at it, for example.
Exactly. It's all in one place.
Perfect. Okay. Great, thanks.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the signature of the supplier because it gives you that kind of bi-directional view as well, which is excellent. Again, I mean, there's some people who are going to say, why do we have to go through this process? But the reality is that for some purchasing, this is required in some organizations. So this is great. Thank you very much, Daniela. That was nice and easy. It's a powerful little tool, right? I say little, there's a lot of work behind it. And it makes it look a lot simpler than it is, which is good. So Andy, why don't we, I know you've got some stats around this, right? In order to talk about some of the actual value that this brings, because it can be quite significant.
Yeah, yes, Mo. So we've worked with one of our automotive customers on a case study in partnership with Docusign, just to demonstrate the real time and money saving benefits that our connector can deliver, just to bring it to life. So walking back to our scenarios of how customers sign documents. So with the scenario one, the pure paper-based inefficient process, we found that with the customer, it can take up to 80 minutes of working time just to sign one document. Yeah. And there was a worst case cycle time of up to 8 weeks to get a document obviously passed around the organization, signed with the supplier. So really inefficient, really a lot of activity that isn't beneficial for the organization. With our scenario two, where the customer has Docusign, the working time can fall to 15 minutes. And again, the worst case cycle time improves dramatically to 4 days. So as you can see, real benefit of obviously moving from a paper-based process to using Docusign. With our connector, with the third scenario, we can optimize this even further. So taking the working time down to about 10 minutes, and the worst case cycle time was around 3 days. But with the customer, we did it even faster. It was usually around 2 days. So as you can see, the per document savings of the time can actually translate into real tangible benefits for the organization. So again, with the case study, we did a rough estimation. So per document, we can maybe save around €6 in efficiency savings of time. So that can add up to a substantial saving across the organization with the number of documents that get signed on a yearly basis with our connector.
Right. Yes, that's, I mean, 60K plus per year isn't a joke, right? The efficiency gains that you get in the business as a result of that, that's not costed in. That's your softer gain, I guess, that you don't, it's difficult to calculate, but it's definitely worth pointing out. Having people running around the organization with paper and then getting it signed and then coming back, and then it's the paper trail as well. And do we have everything? Then you've got to store it. So all of that stuff also adds into the business case for it, I guess.
Yeah, totally, Mo. Just definitely around the compliance aspect, as you've seen, it automatically uploads it into the transaction from audit perspective, and there's no risk that a user forgets to upload. Yeah,
it's good that you've got the assumptions there at the bottom, so that gives context in terms of how you've calculated it too. So thank you for that, because it's nice and clear. It's simple. Hopefully the audience, anybody who's watching, kind of, you can see how this is a benefit. And I'm going to put links into the description of the video if you want to reach out to Apsolut to discuss this further. You can do so. Daniela and Andy, thank you very much for joining me. Short and sweet. Daniela, you did a really nice slick demo. Thank you for that as well. It kind of showed us exactly what we needed to know. And like I said, audience, if you have any questions, please do get in touch with us. And yeah, we'll be back with some more videos. Please like the video, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like our content. And Apsolut team will be back on again with another showcase soon.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.